Mambition moments, Mambition moments. It's your girl Tiffany. It's your girl Tiffany. It's your girl Tiffany. And today, guys, I'm back. I'm back with good energy. I'm back with good vibes. Last week was a bit of a downer, and that's okay. Like, one thing I never want to do is pretend on this podcast. I never want to fake the energy. Yes, I know sometimes you can't be down all the time, but last time I just felt really stressed. I had a lot going on, lots of spinning plates. This week I feel so much better. I've been to the gym. I've drank lots of water. I've slept really well. Recently, I've started this thing where I actually leave my phone out of the bedroom when I sleep. Guys, it's been a game changer. I might actually do an episode on that. It's only been 2 weeks since I really started doing it, and I just feel like a different person. But that's to come. For this episode, I wanted to record a version of a post that I made recently called named 10 Things My Children Do Better Than Me, and I'm taking notes. It actually proven really popular on LinkedIn, lots of comments. As we speak, I've had 73 comments about it, but it's just been really popular, and I thought so many people are loving it. So I thought, yeah, let's do an episode. Number one thing my children do better than me is making friends. My daughter's 3, and I said how a few weeks ago when we were at the London Transport Museum, she met a little girl called Nina, and within 4 minutes they were holding hands, playing together, and played throughout the time at the museum. We exchanged numbers with her mum. We met them up the next day. We went to the Young V&M Museum. And since we've been back home, we've exchanged like video messages with them. And it's like my daughter now has a digital pen pal in London. And we obviously have plans to meet up when we go back. So yeah, it's just how quickly children make friends. But sadly for adults and grown-ups, we overthink it. Loneliness and isolation is at an all-time high simply because we struggle to make friends, and perhaps we can learn from the kids. Number 2, asking for what they want. No preamble, no softening, just, Mummy, I'd like this. Now, please. Revolutionary. Like, my daughter knows chocolate is not a thing I would give her in the morning, but she would ask me. And she asks as if like it's something I should think about. I have often caught myself thinking, should I be giving it to her? Because she asks so well. She goes, oh, please, Mummy. And then she does this cute, lovely face. And then she will tell me why I should give it to her. Just a little bit, Mummy. And it's just so, I admire that in her, just being able to ask for what she wants, even though she knows that it's not what I would want her to have. But yeah, there's so much we need to learn, especially as women, learn to ask for salary increase, learn to ask for help when we need it, learn to ask our partners for support when we need it, and learn to ask for, so many things. But I think sadly we overcomplicate it. We are scared of asking. But yeah, it's let's learn from the kids and how they do it. Number 3, living in the moment. My children will spend 6 hours at the Transport Museum. I think our record is probably 7. 7 hours at the museum. They will, at the Transport Museum, they love it so much. They would be there from open to close, and not once did either of my children, ever wonder if they should be somewhere else. Like, my children just love the Transport Museum. They're so into it. They don't think, oh, should we go over there instead or there? Whereas for me, as a grown-up, when I'm at the Transport Museum, sometimes I'm thinking about work. And that's the truth. I think about work. I'm thinking, should I have bought a book so I can make the most of the time? Should I maybe sneakily listen to a podcast with one headphones in, since they're playing anyway? But yeah, I think sadly as adults, we struggle to be in the moment. We're planning the future. We're worrying about the past. We're ruminating about things that didn't go well, or this and that, what could happen. And I even told you guys about last time at the Transport Museum, where I thought I'd take a book and be productive because my kids play really well by themselves and other kids. And then I looked in my bag and didn't even have the book anyway. So yeah, my children are forcing me to be in the moment. I don't have a choice. There you go. Number 4 thing they do really well is making strangers feel seen. My daughter, once, I told about how she saw an older lady get on the bus the other time with a walking stick, and she called a wise old woman. Well, I'll leave that. It's like I can't even. Yeah, my daughter always comes out with this one-liners. She's only 3, but she's going to be a stand-up comedian. And then the other time I was saying how it was actually International Women's Day. We met a lady at the park, Rebecca, and my daughter was telling her she loved the nails and what's your necklace from? And then when Rebecca was leaving, my daughter was like, bye, yummy Rebecca. And I was like, the way my daughter interacts with other people, especially other women, especially other girls, it's really fascinating to me, because she's at that years of like loving other women, wanting to get to know them, compliment, ask them, tell them she likes what they're wearing. And I'm learning from her to do the same. And the more I do the same, I've mentioned about my kind of learning not to compete with other women, to collaborate, to be compliment to the women. And the more I do that, I realize that complimenting other people doesn't take anything away from you. I think we sadly as women have learned this competition, this scarcity mindset that really is getting us nowhere. So yeah, learning that from my daughter. Number 5 is unbothered confidence. My children just do what they feel like doing, and it's really fascinating. I said how my daughter recently took a potato to nursery, and even though nursery said don't bring any items in, no toys, no objects, you just took a potato in, zero shame, zero hesitation, pure unfiltered self-belief. And even the other day, she tried to take in a soft toy that she hid under a clothes, saying she pretending to be pregnant and saying it was her baby. And I tried to explain to her, you can't take that to nursery, but to her, she's like, no, it's my baby, I can take it to nursery. I was like, okay, then, I don't know, we'll get it to the gates at least, and then we'll take it back from her there. But, my daughter's certainly confident about, like, I'm going to do these things that I really want to do. I know, obviously, I do respect nursery's rules, don't get me wrong, but there's a small part of me that's like, quite like that you want to do what you want a bit, because I know that for a big part of my life, I was scared to do what I wanted, and I just wanted to follow the rules. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's just about finding that balance, isn't it? There's a guest we had in a podcast, Michelle. I can't remember her last name now, and she speaks a lot about women, about the confidence, about the patriarchy, and just a lot about like the good girl conditioning. And imagine if we paid attention to that in our life. And I wonder when my daughter will start to condition herself. And for now, I quite like that she's unconditioned. So I think I'm just enjoying that chapter of her, and hoping that she keeps more of it. Right, number 6, curiosity without embarrassment. My children will ask any questions that come to their mind. They don't think, oh, is that a stupid question? They just say, Mommy, but why won't that thing do that thing? I'm like, oh, that's a good question. And sometimes it's the most obvious questions. And you're like, oh, that's a good question. I remember my daughter, we were at the shopping center. There was a lady with a baby, and she was with another lady. And my daughter loves babies. So, oh, baby, oh, so cute. And then by the time we're leaving, she looks at the lady and she said, does the baby have 2 mummies? And I thought, wow, like, but the lady was like, oh no, that's my sister or friend. I can't remember. But I just thought, wow, like, but my daughter just was asking like the obvious questions. And it's like, it's really interesting now, because obviously we have our own interpretations, and we have the nuance or the understanding or the context. But with kids, there are no context. So they just ask it as it is. And I think it's really helping me even to learn about different things and to unlearn different things. We recently spoke to Laura Jenkins. She's a partner at a law firm, and we spoke about how even after becoming a parent, I was changed how she communicates, because I think a lot of it's about, you learn that the way that you communicate isn't the only way to communicate. Like the way my children communicate, it causes me to look at how they see the world differently. And in answering their questions, I learned that I don't know a lot of things actually, and it's good to be curious and ask more questions, and there's nothing wrong with that. And at least you will learn the information quickly rather than being ignorant for a longer time because you're trying to protect your like pride. Number 7 then, forgiveness. My children, I mean, it happens a few times, and I walk into the room, something's broken or spilled, or there's been some chaos, and I react and I say, I was done this, and I don't know the full story. And then I then have to backtrack because it's an accident or it's nothing, bad, because not the end of the world and a carpet gets stained. And then my children will forgive me because I always say sorry to them. That's something I've learned, to be humble, to say sorry when I'm in the wrong, because I don't expect them to only say sorry when they do something wrong. I will say sorry too. And I'm teaching them that grown-ups are sorry too when they do something. It's not just the children, but it's the way they forgive me. No drama, no grudge. They don't mention it the next day and say, oh, do you remember when you did that, Mommy? They just forgive everything. It might be an age thing. And it's taught me to do the same. I spoke about how a few weeks ago, my son broke something, and I was quite annoyed with him because it was quite a moment of anger and I didn't like how he reacted. But then I because he showed remorse. He said, sorry, I forgave him. And the next day he did something much, on a much smaller scale. And it was almost on the tip of my tongue to bring it up. And I thought, no, Tiffany, that was yesterday. Leave it there. And it's just little things like that's how my children behave. So I'm going to reflect that back to them. But yeah, I've just been taught something there that I didn't know before to apply. Forgiveness. Number 8, finding joy in simple things. A cardboard box, which is the box is better than the toy. We all know that with kids. My daughter loves Play-Doh at nursery, like actual Play-Doh, plays with it all day, not with some fancy toy. A potato, a puddle. The joy is always fresh, always real, never performed. And I think I'm learning the same. Yeah, I'm really learning the same. I think, I was saying to you guys, I will talk about it at some point, but I've had a very, very challenging past 8 to 9 months. I'm certainly in a much better place, genuinely happy and smiling. But what I learned in that time was how to find joy again. Like literally the only things that kept me going were like the simple things. Like my money couldn't save me. My designer handbags couldn't save me. It was just what kept me going was generally like small things. Like I was watching comedy. I was like out with the kids and smiling and looking for things. We traveled. We did things. I found joy in like life and the simple things and in nature. I would go for a walk and walk around, and that gave me some level of happiness. And I had to do my gratitude journal. I had to sit down and make some notes and be by myself and reflect. And I found joy in those things. It wasn't anything. I couldn't buy anything to save me, if that made sense. And it was really interesting. Like praying and connecting with God and that was what gave me joy. And it's really fascinating what you realize. And I think children teach you a lot of that. And I'm so grateful for it. That doesn't mean I don't like nice things, but I also know that it's the simple things in life. Number 9 then, saying I love you without it being a big deal. My children are so loving and cuddly. And I actually think they get this. We learned this. They learned this a lot more from their dad, more than me, because I was brought up in a very traditional Nigerian. We weren't like a lovey-dovey family. It was all very like, mom, dad, respect your parents. So obviously they loved us, but it wasn't a very like verbal love you all the time kind of family. But with what their dad has kind of brought into the dynamic has been more like that love and verbal love type of thing. And I really like that. My children are super cuddly. I tell them I love them like a million times a day. And again, just because it's not something I had as a child, but I want them to know. I want them to know I love them, like not like guess that I love them or not sure if I don't love them, or I want them to know because I want to tell them all the damn time. That's just me. I know it's not everyone's style. But yeah, my children tell me they love me all the time, freely, constantly, without agenda, without expectation. They don't want anything from me. And I love that so much. And that's something I really am about, like verbal, affirmative love. Just because, like I said, I didn't have it as a child. I count on my hands the time my parents told me they loved me. They were proud of me. They thought I was a good kid, but I can't remember them saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I want that for my kids alongside the expectations that you do the work or you work hard or you're a good person. I want you to know that I love you and I love you regardless. That's important. But yeah, my children are teaching me the value of that. Number 10, never saving the best for later. The grandparents recently bought my daughter this beautiful dress. It was like what I consider to be her best dress. So I hung it on the wardrobe, saving it for, a party or something where everyone sees it and it's an event. The other night, my daughter pointed and said she wanted to wear it to bed. And I thought, sorry, what? I remember thinking, no, but she was insisting that she wanted to wear it to bed. And I just pulled it off and put it on her. And she went to bed and she was happy. And I thought, I love that. She didn't want to save it for a special occasion because going to bed was a special occasion. And I think she might be onto something. So I've certainly started doing that a lot more. I have some really nice perfumes I consider like going out perfumes, but sometimes now I just spray them on. I love C. C is one of my favorite ones. And I've always considered like going out. But now I'm like, just spray it. Just do the best things now because tomorrow's not promised. So there you go. I thought I was raising these kids, but goes to show they are raising me. And finally, I want to say that, I think motherhood is definitely like the greatest leadership course. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's such a shame that as women, we underestimate how much growth and development we get in this chapter of life. And maybe sometimes we gotta we've got to rethink buying that course, buying that leadership course, and actually think, what am I learning for my children? Because there's a leader being developed by your children, and if you pay attention to what they're teaching you, pay attention to the opportunity that it is to be a mother, then I think we will definitely see how much more we're growing, how much more we have to offer. The relentless of parenting, the patience it requires of you, the perspective it forces on you. You don't have a choice. The way it strips everything that doesn't matter, that is not diminishing you. That is you're becoming a leader. So yeah, I'm trying to catch up with my children, but I'm definitely being raised by them. That's it. Thank you guys. You have been incredible. Remember, you are doing your best. And also remember to like, share, comment. Come and meet us on LinkedIn. We're also now on YouTube. I'm trying to be consistent with that. Yeah, always easy, because I got these kids. But we're on YouTube. So check us out on there and follow us. And thank you for being part of this journey. See you on the next one. Bye.